Thanks, Sean. We know that one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to a truly circular economy with packaging is that recycled plastic, as an input into the packaging supply chain, has disadvantages compared to its virgin plastic counterpart. It's more expensive. In certain cases, there's lower quality or opacity issues. After all, some of it's coming out of the ocean. And frankly, there isn't enough of it. Americans have a dismal track record when it comes to recycling. Meanwhile, there's some intrepid brands that are persevering with recycled plastics anyways and helping to create that whole market that should help create a circular situation when it comes to plastics packaging. I'm here today with Patrick Keenan, Packaging Research and Development with Annie's, and that's one of those companies that's blazing forward in this area. He's here to tell us about an interesting project that's not only using recycled plastics, it's using recycled plastics as a food contact package. So Patrick, why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I've been doing packaging engineering and R&D with Annie's for the past 7 years. And for those that don't know, Annie's is a natural and organic brand owned by General Mills. We're most recognizable for our shells and white cheddar mac and cheese, but we also have a broad range of other natural and organic products. Our consumer base is really passionate about better for you products, and this inevitably leads into requests for more sustainable packaging. A few years ago, you'll know that ocean plastics was gaining a lot of awareness, and our consumer base was really concerned about our use of plastics, and really were trying to push us towards more recycled plastics. But as we knew, the recycled plastics was very low, had a very low recycling rate. So we as a brand wanted to think about how can we really make a statement that would show our consumers that we're working towards more sustainable plastic packaging. That's when we decided to launch a cereal that had a liner in it that contained the cereal that was made with recycled content. The interesting part about this is we would be the first to use a flexible HDPE film that contained recycled content. A couple years ago, we launched our Friend cereal, which is a mix of different flavors of puffed cereal snacks shaped like bunnies. And we worked really closely with our brand team on how to best use that box to educate our consumers. You can see on the back of the cereal box, which is one of the most read food packaging, as you can imagine, the consumer sitting at their table, eating their bowl of cereal, reading the back of the box. We really used the back of the box to educate the consumer on what we were doing. You can see Bernie on the back of the box with his friends sorting out the different types of recycling. And one of the cool things is the milk jug in there made of HDPE was one of the items that the bunnies were recycling. And this was the key to the innovation of our recycled content. We found a reclaimer who was able to sort out from the recycling stream milk and juice jugs that could then be cleaned and turned into a blown HDPE film. What a great story that is to tell, right? Milk jugs being recycled and then used into a cereal liner. Our brand team loved this and really did a great job of educating the consumer. You can see on the side of the recycling bin that we took the opportunity to explain that the cereal liner was made from 35% recycled content from things like recycled milk jugs. And I think one of the big things that was interesting about this is that we had heard from the supply chain a lot that brands weren't interested in recycled content, especially for food contact. They were worried about performance issues on sealing the film. They were worried potentially brands would be worried about how clear the film is and if there was any imperfections in the film. And we really want to make the statement that that wasn't true. We want to use recycled content. We want there to be access to recycled content. And more importantly, our consumers also want that. And when we launched this cereal a couple years ago, we got so much positive feedback from our consumers. It turned around the negative story about plastics into something positive, and in such a fun way that educated our consumer. So I think it's a really important story to our supply chain that we really do want recycled content, and anything that they could do to make it available would be great.
Yeah, that really brings it full circle. The HDPE milk jug becomes the HDPE, or at least a portion of it, cereal liner. That's interesting. But let's face it, Annie's is an early adopter. It's a leader in this. It's an outlier when it comes to industry writ large. So what needs to happen to make this more mainstream, the use of recycled plastics?
Yeah, I think what's really important is that brands make commitments around including recycled content. We know that it does generally cost more than virgin plastic. So if they can make a commitment by 2025 or 2030 to meet a certain percent recycled content in their packaging, it's a really good way to embed that strategy that will help drive increased recycled content.
Okay, and there's certain organizations, NGOs, and whatnot that exist specifically for this purpose. So maybe you could walk us through some of those that are available. And
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I think one of the great organizations, the Association of Plastic Recyclers, has put together the Demand Champions program. So if you are including recycled content in any part of your supply chain, reach out to the Association of Plastic Recyclers because they'll recognize you for that. Also, the New Plastics Economy has a commitment around recycled content, and you can visit their website. Recently, US Plastics Pack came out with an announcement around recycled content. Also, other organizations not necessarily related to packaging, like the World Wildlife Fund, has a statement around recycled content. Feel free to read through that. And finally, there are industry leadership groups that you could participate in. I put an example down here that's a collaboration between the Recycling Partnership and the Sustainable Packaging Coalition, the Next Market Collaborative.
so thanks again for your time today, Patrick.
Thank you.